Long before the world as we know it existed, there was chaos, a void of infinite darkness and possibility. From that nothingness came gods, titans, and heroes, shaping the very fabric of existence. Welcome to Legends Through Time Oldies, where we journey through the myths, legends, and timeless stories of our past. Today we delve into a tale of creation, divine struggle, and heroic adventure stories that have echoed through the ages and continue to inspire wonder and awe. Prepare yourself, for history is alive and legend awaits. With heroes rising across the earth and mortals growing in ambition, the Olympians turned their gaze from observation to guidance. Olympus, perched above the clouds, became not only a throne of power, but also a council of wisdom, where Zeus, Poseidon, Hades, and their divine siblings deliberated on the fate of men. Zeus, as king of the gods, issued decrees of law and justice, seeking to instill order in a world still raw with chaos. He watched over kings and cities, ensuring that rulers honored hospitality, fairness, and courage, while punishing those whose pride threatened balance. His thunderbolts became both shield and warning, a reminder that divine authority governed all. Poseidon, lord of the seas, shaped the lives of those who traversed the waters. Mariners prayed to him for calm tides and safe passage, while coastal cities paid homage to his temperamental dominion. The oceans, teeming with creatures and mystery, became both a challenge and a gift, teaching mortals resilience and respect for forces beyond their control. Hades, ever solemn, maintained the shadowed balance of life and death. He guided the spirits of the departed, ensuring that no soul lingered beyond its time and that the cycle of mortality continued unbroken. Mortals learned to honor the dead, to bury their fallen with care, and to understand that life's brevity made courage and legacy all the more precious. Among the Olympians, the goddesses shaped civilization in subtler yet profound ways. Demeter nurtured the harvest, teaching humans to cultivate the earth and respect its cycles. Hestia tended the hearth, instilling the sanctity of home and the warmth of community. Athena inspired craft, strategy, and wisdom, guiding mortals toward ingenuity and learning. Hera, queen of the gods, watched over family, marriage, and loyalty, her influence shaping bonds that would endure across generations. In their interactions with mortals, the Olympians created the seeds of myth. Each divine intervention, whether blessing, challenge, or punishment, became a story, a lesson etched into human memory. The first temples rose, the first rituals were performed, and the first stories were sung beside fires. Mortals began to record their encounters with gods and monsters, weaving their own history into the fabric of the divine. Yet the shadow of the Titans lingered still. Though imprisoned, their influence remained as cautionary tales, the dangers of pride, the consequences of rebellion, the unyielding power of the ancient forces. Mortals understood in part that they lived between divine oversight and cosmic chaos, a precarious balance that demanded courage, wisdom, and respect. Thus, the age of gods and mortals unfolded fully. Humanity, guided by divine decree and inspired by heroism, began to shape civilizations, tell stories, and reach toward greatness. Olympus watched, not with total control, but with the careful hand of guardianship, a world where gods and men, titans and chaos, intertwined in the eternal dance of destiny, legend, and myth. As the Olympians guided the world, certain mortals distinguished themselves beyond all others. These were the first heroes, beings who, though born of clay and flesh, carried courage, cunning, and ambition that rivaled the gods themselves. Their actions would not merely shape cities or kingdoms, but the very memory of humanity. In quiet valleys and bustling plains, heroes began to emerge. Some were kings, gifted with wisdom and strength, who united peoples and defended their lands from marauders and beasts. Others were warriors, fearless and skilled, trained by divine hands or inspired by the whispers of Athena and Ares. Still others were cunning figures whose intelligence and foresight enabled them to outwit dangers that brute strength could not overcome. These early heroes were tested relentlessly. Monsters from the depths of the earth, remnants of the Titans' chaos, threatened settlements and challenged the courage of men. Enormous serpents, giant lions, and other terrifying creatures prowled the forests and mountains. Each encounter demanded bravery, skill, and ingenuity, and each triumph became a story that would be told for generations. The gods themselves often intervened. Zeus sent lightning to aid the righteous and punish the arrogant. Poseidon stirred storms against sailors who disrespected the seas. Athena offered strategy and insight to those she favored, while Artemis guided hunters through dangerous forests. Even Hades occasionally whispered warnings through dreams, reminding mortals that death and fate were never far away. Through these trials, the first great legends were born. Heroes built mighty cities, defended kingdoms, and discovered treasures hidden in the earth. They founded dynasties, created alliances, and sometimes fell to hubris, becoming cautionary tales of pride and ambition. Their stories were sung by bards, carved into stone, and etched into the collective memory of humanity. Yet even in their victories, heroes were never free from the influence of the Titans. Giants occasionally escaped the depths of Tartarus, challenging mortal courage. The Arañas pursued those whose pride defied natural law. And through it all, the whisper of chaos lingered, reminding mortals and gods alike that the world was shaped by both order and unpredictability. Thus, the age of legendary heroes unfolded, a time when mortals tested the limits of strength, wisdom, and courage. Their deeds intertwined with the will of the Olympians, the shadow of the Titans, and the ever-present echoes of chaos. In this era, humanity learned that even the smallest mortal could leave a mark upon the world, shaping destiny and forging legends that would endure long after gods and men passed from the earth. As humanity matured, so too did their ambition, courage, and defiance. Settlements expanded into kingdoms, and kingdoms clashed over land, resources, and honor. It was in this era that the first great wars of mortals erupted, each battle a stage upon which the gods would intervene, shaping the outcomes and immortalizing deeds. The Titans' lingering shadow remained a threat. Though imprisoned in Tartarus, some managed to influence the mortal world through cunning whispers or subtle manipulations, inspiring hubris, greed, or rebellion. Giants occasionally broke free, laying waste to villages and forcing heroes to rise against them. The Arañas, ever vigilant, punished those who dared defy the natural order, their vengeance swift and relentless. Against these dangers, the Olympians subtly guided the mortals. Athena lent wisdom to generals, granting strategy and insight that could turn the tide of battle. Ares stirred courage, but also the ferocity of war, reminding humans that conflict was both a test and a forge of greatness. Apollo offered foresight and clarity, and Artemis empowered hunters to track beasts and monsters threatening villages. From these crucibles, heroes emerged stronger and more renowned. Kings led armies with unmatched skill. Warriors faced monsters and won against impossible odds. And ordinary mortals discovered courage within themselves, performing deeds that would echo in song and story. Each victory and failure added threads to the growing tapestry of legend. Epic quests began to take shape. Heroes ventured into dark forests, climbed mountains untouched by humans, sailed across tempestuous seas, and descended into the underworld to confront death itself. Along the way, they encountered divine trials, enchanted weapons, cunning traps, and impossible riddles set by gods to test resolve and ingenuity. Success brought glory and favor. Failure brought cautionary tales whispered through generations. Through these conflicts, humans and gods alike learned essential truths: that courage without wisdom is fleeting, that strength alone cannot overcome fate, and that the intertwining of mortal and divine shapes a story far larger than any one life. Mortals came to respect the power of Olympus while embracing the potential of their own ambition, and heroes became the living bridges between humanity and divinity. Thus unfolded the age of epic conflicts, where the deeds of mortals and the influence of gods merged to form the foundation of myth. From the chaos of Titans to the order of Olympus, from the courage of heroes to the trials that tested them, the world became a stage for legend, a place where every action, every choice, and every victory contributed to the eternal stories that would define the cosmos. In the age of epic conflicts, heroes sought more than mere survival or conquest. They sought glory, knowledge, and the favor of the gods. Their journeys became quests, adventures that would shape their lives, test their courage, and forever intertwine their names with legend. The first quests were often born of divine decree. Zeus, observing mortal ambition, sometimes tasked heroes with challenges to prove their worth. Poseidon, ever unpredictable, stirred oceans and rivers, sending mortals on treacherous voyages to claim treasures hidden beneath the waves. Athena guided those who sought wisdom, strategy, and cunning, sending riddles and trials to sharpen both mind and spirit. Even Hades in the shadowed underworld occasionally set impossible challenges, demanding that heroes confront the finality of death itself. Among the earliest legendary quests were those to retrieve sacred relics or vanquish monstrous beings that threatened humanity. Giants roamed the mountains, offspring of Titan blood, their immense strength challenging even the most skilled warriors. Serpents, dragons, and chimeric beasts lurked in deep forests, and misty valleys, forcing heroes to combine cunning, bravery, and divine gifts. Each confrontation tested the limits of mortal endurance and resourcefulness. Some quests led heroes beneath the earth into the realm of Hades, where souls whispered warnings and shadows danced. These journeys were perilous, for death's power could claim even the bravest, and heroes had to navigate illusions, temptations, and the consequences of mortal pride. Survival required not only strength, but respect for the delicate balance between the living and the dead. Other quests took heroes across the seas, guided by Poseidon's capricious hand. They navigated storms, treacherous currents, and islands shrouded in mystery. Along the way, divine creatures, nymphs, sea monsters, and spirits of the deep intervened, either aiding or testing the mortals. The oceans became both a crucible and a proving ground, shaping heroes capable of matching the courage and cunning of the gods themselves. Through these quests, heroes forged alliances, discovered hidden talents, and performed feats that would be sung across generations. Each journey left its mark on the world. Forests tamed, mountains traversed, rivers bridged, and civilizations inspired. Mortals began to see that the gods' favor could elevate them, while defiance or hubris could destroy them. Yet behind every success, the shadow of the Titans lingered. Even from their prison in Tartarus, remnants of their power influenced the world, reminding heroes that every victory carried both risk and consequence. Chaos, though subdued, whispered through the trials, ensuring that every quest was a test not only of skill and courage, but of wisdom, morality, and destiny. Thus, the first legendary quests were born a tapestry of adventure, danger, and divine interplay. Through them, mortals carved their names into history, forged the enduring legends of Greek mythology, and set the stage for the epic tales of gods, heroes, and the eternal struggle between order and chaos. And so the stories of gods and heroes, of chaos and order, live on, not only in ancient scrolls or stone temples, but in the hearts of those who listen and remember. From the rise of the Titans to the courage of mortals, the echoes of legend remind us that heroism, wisdom, and the divine are never far from our own lives. Thank you for traveling with us through time, uncovering the old stories that shape the world. If you enjoyed this journey, subscribe and join us again on Legends Through Time Oldies, where the past comes alive and every legend has a story to tell.